Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness, balancing out all the bad news out there, because if it bleeds, it leads. And if you're looking for the headlines, you ain't going to find it here. There's plenty of places, but we want you to stay here because we do Heartlines, and we have topics and guests and special series to that end. And you can tell by the person in the studio that it is time for Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
She's a U.S. Navy veteran, published author, retired OBGyn from Compton, California. She's a playwright, singer, poet, songwriter, fellow Renaissance woman. Dr. Tiffanie is a published author of many children's books, including one. My favorite is Bad Touching, but now she has a bunch and they're all great. Music is covered, money is covered, and she's also doing some interesting new things that we'll hear about during the break. Please welcome back to the studio, Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. And as usual, it is always a pleasure to be here with you, Dr. Marissa.
It is always a pleasure, and we get to catch up once a week. I don't let her talk to me during the week because we want to keep it fresh, and we actually do that in a little exercise called breakfast. So welcome to breakfast with myself and Dr. Tiffanie. We're going to take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Top of the bun, things we're grateful for that are outside of ourselves. Bottom of the bun, things that we like and are grateful for inside of ourselves. Qualities, abilities, unique talents, and gifts that we have. So, Dr. Tiffanie, what are you grateful for this morning?
I am grateful that this weekend I had the fabulous opportunity to attend the Democratic Convention in Anaheim, and I had the opportunity to interact with lots of congressional people from DC as well as the California Assembly, and I learned a lot about how we can improve our political system.
Sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
I am grateful that my next chapter, and I promised you in the promo and then on my story this morning that I would announce it here, that I am 3 weeks away from going back on world tour. Some of you know that my tour was cut short by COVID, literally. I got on the last plane out of China in November of 2019 when I was on book tour. And last plane to get before taking temperatures on those planes. So my mom just passed. My bonus mom passed 3 months ago. So now I have the ability to go back. And I kind of started in Australia last year and then went back to China. And the reception's been great, so that I am going to Canada for July, Africa for August, Hawaii and Puerto Rico for September, back here for Newport Beach Film Festival and Catalina Jazz Festival, October, Shanghai in November, and Taiwan in December. So teaching, speaking, writing, balance Tai Chi Gong, happiness, back with my book tour, 8 Ways to Happiness, national and #1 Amazon bestseller. So that's the big announcement. And I know some of you are going to say, wait a minute, this sounds familiar. It sounds like the April Fool's joke you did this year and last year when I said I was moving to China and moving to Canada. So it's kind of funny. Someone said to me the other day, you just have to do whatever you do for April Fools is setting an intention, and then it manifests. So I have to take that one under advisement and be careful what I do in April Fools on, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the big announcement. I'm so grateful. I will miss the beach temporarily, but I know that I will come back once the work is done on my Happy 88 international mission. This partly came about when I found out I had my YouTube channel, which I get recognized for by YouTube as the top 5% of creators. And I didn't realize that that would translate into an impression number of 3,889,000. So it's time. And thank you all for your support. And I would add on, if you have people that you know in any one of those places, I love to maximize my time when I'm on tour. So just let me know if you know anyone in any of those countries. And I'll be happy to, I do stuff for nonprofit as well. So it doesn't always have to be a big ticket item. So that's my giant gratitude.
Well, my last gratitude isn't as giant, but it is something to encourage people, because I want to let you know that you should not fall off. You should not give up. I have been battling insurance because my oven was an issue, and I was going back and forth with my home warranty company and the repairman, and he did not want to repair it properly. He was being passive aggressive, and I did not want that company to come back out. And you know how much I love to cook and bake. It is my forte.
Our peach cobbler is to die for.
It is my love language. Baking is one of my love languages. And so my oven would work, not work, work, not work. I would have to go to my mom's house to bake for people, which can be a little bit problematic. I mean, she doesn't live far, but still, to pack up my stuff to go bake. Anyway, victory is mine in the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. They are finally going to either replace the oven or give me money to buy a new oven. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So I am very grateful for that.
Awesome. Yeah. That, when to hold and when to fold stuff, I think that people are usually on either end, like don't want to say anything. I know when I grew up, my mom would say something about everything, and it was so embarrassing that I went to the other extreme and, didn't want to ruffle anything. But then I realized that was, making me into a doormat or wall-to-wall carpet. And there is a balance. Sometimes you have to say, wait a minute, this is not kosher. This is not okay. It's against the principle. And at the same time, common sense is uncommon. So I always wait 24 hours before I make a move, right? To make sure that I'm not hurting myself. But it sounds like yours was absolutely necessary. And I'm so glad that you prevailed. And
yes. Be patient, be kind, be understanding.
No. That P word again. Kind I can do. All right. Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is part of my encouragement to have you weight train yourself. It's one of the things that I'm doing as I'm speaking. I'm introducing a new course that I taught at UCLA in the fall about personal mastery. You can have all the professional mastery, you can have accolades, you can have achievements, you can have awards, you can have money, you can have all of that stuff. But inside, if you are still beating yourself up, self-sabotage, fear of failure, fear of success, perfectionism, then it really doesn't matter how much you got, because inside you can't even enjoy it. So
Mhm.
one of the reasons why we don't enjoy it is if our head says, yeah, but you're only as good as your last whatever, or you're really, they don't really know you. If they knew you, they wouldn't compliment you. That's your own worst enemy. And so part of my Happy 88 mission is get you to care about yourself, because no one's going to care about yourself. Dr. Tiffany says this all the time, except for you, boo. And so by going to bed tonight, the bottom of the bun is, what do I like about myself? And we're just going to model it for you here. So you do that when you go to bed tonight. So you're not, tossing and turning because you're thinking about all the things you forgot to do, all the things that you shouldn't have said, all the people that, insulted you. Instead, you are resting on your loving, lovable, and loved, unique, one of a kind nature. And so that's what the bottom of the bun is. So, Dr. Tiffany, what do you like about yourself?
I like the fact that I am willing to have perseverance, because a lot of people, if they had to deal with my insurance company, they would have gave up. But I'm willing to be patient and persevere and not just take no for an answer. And I think that's important in life, because you will hit obstacles and you will have difficulties face you and you will have to deal with difficult people. But sometimes you have to just shake that off, take a beat, take a deep breath, and keep pushing.
Absolutely. Lots of peas in there. I'm going to have to think
Yes.
about those peas. I appreciate my ability to every day put my life jacket on with a silver lining. It is my hashtag Blisscipline, to look for the good. It's so easy to look for what's wrong, because we're, that's how we're wired when we were however we came into being, if you're Darwin or whatever. But the one thing that everybody can agree on is we notice differences before we notice similarities, largely because we had to for survival, right? You want to notice that there's a woolly mammoth about to like trample you. So it's easy to spot differences. It's a little more work to look at what's good, what's helpful, what's useful, and that's a skill. So gratitude, taking a bite of the gratitude sandwich is an exercise to help you with that. So I am so appreciative that that is part of my being. And as you heard in the roast, if you have not heard that episode of this show, it was so fun, and all my co-hosts beat up on me on a little roast, and on how I am, and that was something that came up, was how positive I am. That was pretty funny.
Absolutely. But I was called Pollyanna in high school because I was always smiling. And I too love to see the bright things in life. Kind of when we went to see the play Annie, when she was telling everyone, if you have to use a newspaper, at least you can read it. So you can always look at the bright things in life. And I would say that I am an optimist. And I love the fact that I am an optimist. And I love to focus on the positivity. And I love to see hope in our lives and hope for a better tomorrow.
Beautiful. Yeah, people ask me all the time, why are you so positive? And so they think I'm going to say, well, this concept or this concept. But bottom line is, it just feels better. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Bootstrap, like, boost. Like, you feel better when you're positive. If you're complaining, it might feel good for a fraction of a second, a California minute, as I call it. And then you feel horrible. And the more you talk about it, the more you call someone, the more you write about it, the worse you feel. So I'm positive because I feel good. And I have to tell you this funny story, Dr. Tiffany. I also, we were birthed out of the same positive cloth. So Pollyanna was my middle name, and I did a show I used to do sexual healing every last week of the month when I was on once a week. And it was Sexual Healing with Dr. Mercer was a special series. And I had on, because I didn't understand, um, uh, all these new kinds of polymorphism, uh, uh, all these other terms, right? So the guy, and I also wanted to understand more of the LGBTQA plus community, because I really, was not
I thought you were going to say polyamorous, the multiple loving group.
yes.
Yes.
So
Okay.
what happened, so what happened was he introduced himself, right, as polyamorous.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Oh, I am too. In fact, that's my middle name," thinking he said Pollyanna. And at the time, this was when I was at Sunset Gower with UBN, and Tony Sweet looked at me and went and I'm like, "Yes, I am."
That's funny.
And the guest goes, "Oh, you're polyamorous too?" And I'm like, "Yes." And Tony's like, so finally, yeah. So that's a little embarrassing, but it was very funny at the time. Still is funny when I think about it.
It still is funny because they're like, well, hey, join our group. Let's have you over. And if that's you, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, do you?
No. Yeah. It's just that I'm clueless sometimes with my naivete. But okay. So that is it for breakfast with that little embarrassing story, because I live my life out loud on this show. Thanks for joining us, taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich. Hope you continue this for 28 consecutive days, whether it is with me on the air, on camera, on the show that has been going on for 683 consecutive weeks, 13 years plus, and 1,404 podcast shows. But who's counting? You get, if you free subscribe and give us the finger, this one, not the other one, you'll get an alert every weekday morning to join me, and Wednesdays especially, with Dr. Tiffanie. So thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day. Everything is awesome. Or, if I can find her favorite here, is...
If you can't find it, I'll do it.
Oh, you got it now?
Hey, you. No, I would just do it.
Hey, you. Hey, you.
As a graduate of UC Santa Barbara, that's my beacher, my beach guy. I love my hey, you.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yes.
that about UC Santa
Yes,
Barbara.
I'm a gaucho. Hey,
You're a
you.
gaucho. My niece Laura was a gaucho, or is a gaucho. Yeah.
Yes, I'm a gaucho through and
Interesting.
through.
I didn't know that.
UCSB.
Wow.
Go Gauchos all the
Yeah,
way.
I only know about your medical school and stuff like that, but I didn't realize
Yes.
that was where your undergrad was.
Vanderbilt, yes, and Gauchos, absolutely. Okay, back to
Okay,
the topic at
topic.
hand. We digress. Sorry, people, we digress. All right, we are talking about apathy. And what is apathy? Number one, it is a general lack of interest. When people have lost their enthusiasm, their general concern for interest in anything exciting, and it can happen. It can be a roller coaster effect, and it can happen because you've lost your emotions, or you don't want to partake in any actions, or you just don't want to do anything. You've lost your motivation. And to be truthful, it happened to me before. I don't know if it has ever happened to you, Dr. Marissa. And it's like, why and how do you get it back, and what's the cause of it?
Yeah, it's funny. It's a word that I very rarely use because I'm not apathetic. I think I honestly I can say I have never been apathetic. Uh, I
Not
thought
even once.
I not even once because I grew up with some difficult upbringing, and I think when there's pressure, it doesn't make me not care. It makes me care more. It may come out sideways, but
Mhm.
yeah, I honestly I looked at that last night, and this morning I'm like, really? There's not one time. So I can't think now. I have a great memory, but my recall sucks. So there may have been a time when I was apathetic and I just can't remember it.
Mhm.
But I am very familiar with the concept because as a organizational psychologist, I work with tons of apathy because it's called they call it now quiet quitting, when
Yeah.
people just go to their jobs, and I call it dead people working.
Mhm.
So I am very familiar with it because people bring me in to try to change that.
Yeah,
But my
because
stuff,
sometimes,
yeah,
yeah, people feel disengaged, they feel indifferent. You've never felt disengaged or felt indifferent to anything? I know after I was, medically retired, I felt disengaged and I felt indifferent, and I know after the, election, a lot of people have felt disengaged and felt indifferent, and I've talked to people who feel disengaged and indifferent after they get divorced. People feel relationship wise disengaged and indifferent to love after a breakup, not even just divorce. After a breakup, with respect to having another relationship, sometimes people feel disengaged and feel indifferent to starting a new relationship. And sometimes that they need that for that emotional healing. Sometimes after they break up with a friend, after they've had a long bond with, they feel disengaged and indifferent before having a new friendship. So sometimes people feel apathetic in different situations. I have a friend who had an issue with her daughter and they fell out, and now she's feeling disengaged and indifferent. So it's a roller coaster when it comes to life. And sometimes people feel apathetic in different sections of their life. And I thought that this would be a good topic
it's a
to
great
address.
topic. And let me be clear, just because I can't remember that I haven't felt it, I'm not judging it.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
saying this is a very normal, and some people will say it's kind of like the what is it? The dark night of the soul, right? Where you
Absolutely.
just
Absolutely.
feel like I've had dark nights of the soul, don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
that feeling of not caring, I think the reason why I haven't had it is I have a really strong focus on something else. So what happens is I don't give it the time, but I'm not judging it at all. So let me be clear about that. But I think it's because I don't allow myself in some ways to go there, and that was what that was through, I'm not saying it's a good habit or a bad habit, but that's just um my practice.
Absolutely. But my point with addressing this topic is to let people know that it's
It is
normal
normal. Yes.
and
Yes.
it is just a phase, and this too shall pass, and you can rebound from it. And the best way to address a problem is, number one, to address it, to identify it, and then you can recover from it. So let's look at some examples of what apathy is. Number one, you can have a loss of interest in your activities. So you might stop pursuing your typical hobbies. You may no longer want to go to the movies. You may stop bowling. You may stop singing. You may stop even dancing queen. So these are some of the things that you may stop doing. You may withdraw from some of the organizations that you're doing doing. Like you said, that quiet quitting, you may withdraw from some of your work responsibilities. You may see a lack of engagement, right, Dr. Marissa?
Absolutely. This is very, very common. In fact, that the slide that I talk about perfectionism, procrastination, and if you don't catch yourself there, you're going to go into paralysis. And
Mhm.
I think paralysis is also a form of apathy where you don't even want to get out of bed. You don't want to take a shower, you don't open your mail, your bills, you're just like, I've had it and I don't care anymore. I don't care about you. I don't care about me. I think levels I'm hearing from you, there are different levels of apathy.
Mhm.
Uh, and again, some apathy is normal. A lot of apathy, not so good for you. I wouldn't say it's wrong, but it's not useful.
Mhm.
And I'm addicted to usefulness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so you definitely do not want to neglect your responsibilities because you don't want to neglect your personal hygiene, even your work obligations or school obligations, especially whether it's high school, college, graduate school, or even bystander apathy. If you see an emergency, you want to get involved. You want to call 911. You want to be helpful to a certain extent. You want to do what you can do to be a responsible person because I think you want to have some enthusiasm about your life. It is your life. It's what you make of it. I think it's important to not have complete indifference. And I think that disinterest in your own self is important. You want to be able to speak up and speak out, kind of like I did for my own interest with my oven. I think it's important to take control.
Yeah, absolutely. There's that, it's a balance again, one to hold, one to fold. I do take one day off a month to do nothing. That is my
Mhm.
purposeful, just to, and it can be seen as not caring, but it's actually caring for myself and disengaging and not feeling like I need to do anything. But then if you go to the extreme, and I think COVID really negatively impacted, or it's not useful to get into the habit. A lot of us have a habit now of not wanting to go out for a walk, not wanting to go engage socially, sitting and binge watching till 3 in the morning. That is also apathy, right? Or
Mhm.
um, just not caring about yourself. And people, my short film PPP, post pandemic possibilities, that loving yourself can sometimes just start with getting up and getting in your best outfit instead of your worst, sloppy sweat, suit. Again,
I don't know. I love me some
once in a
good
while,
sweats.
but I encourage people to get dressed up every morning to make their bed or clean, at least, every other 3 days, because it gives yourself a little self-care. Because if you wake up every morning and you see a mess, or you wake up every morning and you hate the way you look, and I'm going to do a little tough love, and I may be getting in trouble for this, but I just feel like I have to say this, is that there is such a thing as a habit of being depressed. I'm not saying that, if you've been diagnosed, okay, but you're not your diagnosis, and there are things that you can do for yourself. People come to me all the time and say, I can't get out of bed, I don't feel like doing anything, and I'm just depressed. I'm depressed all the time. And I ask them, what their habits are. And oh well, I watch the news, and I What do you talk about on the phone? Well, we talk about how horrible things are out there. And it's just, I don't want to bring a kid into this world because of all. And it's like, these are all law of attraction. You are creating your reality of being and feeling depressed. And I'm not talking about people whose, hormones are, need medication, but I am talking about the habit that, I'm sorry, when I went to grad school in psychology, the percent of the population was 0.06, I believe, that were clinically depressed. There are over 25% of people in America taking antidepressant, anti-anxiety pills. How do you go from 0.06 to 25% in my lifetime? Just saying, I put that moose on the table. So I want, get up, take a shower, make your bed, put on something nice, start taking a little walk around, take a bite of my gratitude sandwich, and see how you feel. If you don't feel better, go to the doctor.
We will say that is Dr. Marissa's opinion. As a medical professional, I will say that I disagree. And we will leave that at that. And I will say you should definitely take care of yourself. You should definitely get moving. And I think that you can have some problems and difficulty concentrating, but you should definitely get moving. You should definitely take care of yourself, and you should definitely start participating in life, and have some goals. And I think that you should start focusing on how to focus.
And that's why we're doctors in the house here. We've got, I'm PhD, piled higher and deeper. Dr. Tiffanie is MD. So you can understand the diversity, which is great, which is why we love doing this show, because we can agree to disagree and provide multiple perspectives that you can choose to try out all the time. We're going to have to take a quick break right now for news, weather, and traffic as we go fight behind the scene. No, I'm just kidding. And a word from our sponsor. So thank you for being here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, our fabulous Wednesday special series. Doctors in the house with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And if you noticed, we got the memo to dress complimentary, even though what we say sometimes is not the same. But we'll be right back. Don't go away. Chuck Woolery. We'll be back in 2 and 2, but it's actually peace in, peace out. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate, and I am running to be your United States House of Representatives congressperson. I am running because, as a veteran and a physician, I have seen so many freedoms that we as people under attack, and I want to represent you. Please go and visit my website at Dr. Tate for Congress. That's www.DrTateforCongress.com. You will see where I stand, learn a little bit more about me, and see where I stand on the issues. Please learn about me, learn about where I stand on the issues, and support me so I can represent you. So that's Dr. Tate for Congress. Thank you for your support.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my YouTube TV channel that houses all of my 1,404 podcast shows over the last 683 consecutive weeks. That's 13 plus years now, but who's counting? And so grateful that you're here to witness another fabulous episode of my very special middle of the week series called Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And what's the topic for today, Dr. Tiffanie?
Apathy, and we want to attack apathy. We want to pull you out. We want to lift you up, and we want to help you live a better life 88% of the time.
Nice. And of course, I don't think anybody wants to be called pathetic, which is very close to apathetic. So that's the other reason why we don't want you to do that. We have a wonderful captain of our cashew gallery. It is a new name I don't think I've seen before. Anaya. Anaya, thank you for that. Dr. Tate for Congress. You just heard that in the break. I have co-hosts that are just up to good. Not no good, but all kinds of good. But because I do have a rule about no politics on the content of this show, we're not going to talk about that. But of course, I support my co-hosts in their
endeavors,
their unique way of being a beneficial presence on the planet. So let's just put it that way, so you know where I lean. All right. So we were talking about
apathy. So I believe that apathy can stem, like you said before, it can stem from multiple factors, including an underlying mental health condition, like we were saying before the promo, and it can be from medical issues such as depression. And if you are experiencing a medical diagnosis, please take your medication if you have been prescribed. As a medical provider, a board-certified OBGyn who has prescribed medication, I think it is important, and medication is needed if it has been prescribed. So please don't stop it. I think
that's not what I said.
Just no. I'm just you didn't say that.
Okay,
I am just putting that tag out there. Dr. Marissa did not say that, and I did not say that. So I am saying that if you have been prescribed medication, please continue to take it. So we are not saying stop your medication.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we have that out there. So temporary feelings of apathy are common, and this is different from depression. And we want to let you know that it can be a roller coaster ride, and you can come up from it because they are temporary. And so the way you can come out of apathy is, number one, to identify it and to reframe your thinking. And so just prioritize sleep. Like Dr. Marissa and I were saying before, don't stay up all night binge watching, because I have done that.
I have done that too.
Guilty.
I'll admit it.
Yes, we are normal people just like you. We are the people. And so you want to prioritize your lifestyle, prioritize sleep, nutrition, try eating healthy, avoid drinking coffee right before you go to sleep or caffeinated drinks, because that will stimulate you and keep you from getting good sleep. And exercise regularly, whether it's a brisk walk around the block or even doing laps around your table.
Or good sex.
Yeah,
right.
That is healthy exercise. That's good cardio. That is good. Self-care is significant because you should prioritize yourself. We've been talking about that. You can go back and watch our show, Journey to the Center of You. Self-care is important. We prioritize everyone else, but we don't prioritize ourselves. And it's important to reduce your stress, have regular hobbies, spend time with your loved ones. Practicing mindfulness, which is what we do at the beginning of the show, is not just an exercise for fun. It is an exercise of necessity. Right, Dr. Marissa?
Absolutely. That's why we start with breakfast every show.
Mm-hmm. And goal setting, break larger tasks down into smaller tasks. Inch by inch, everything is a cinch. I want you to keep saying that to yourself. Don't get overwhelmed, because then it's like, okay, I can't do anything. It's just too insurmountable. Just forget it all. And so if you say, okay, let me write it all down and let me work towards it piece by piece, piecemeal it, and then you can make it happen. Okay. Seek support. Talk to your family, talk to your friends, and if necessary, talk to a mental health expert. You can do it. Just remember that. Keep telling yourself that. Be the little engine that can, little engine that could. You can do it. So remember that. And as long as you reassure yourself, reaffirm yourself, you can do anything.
Absolutely. Yes. If you've just tuned in on what's going on in studio today, it is Doctors in the House, my middle of the week Get Over the Hump of Yourself show, special series with Dr. Tiffanie Tate and I. And we're talking about apathy and how to, if you are feeling apathetic, ways in which to get out of it. And I use this as a foundation for anything that you're feeling that you don't like. Is it working for you? So if you identify that, okay, I'm feeling apathetic, my first question to you is it working for you? Do you like it?
Mhm.
And that usually kickstarts the change, because if you don't put a force into a normal habit, it will continue with the habit. And that was the point of my tough love before, is there's a lot of people, maybe because of the pandemic, who have developed that habit that it's just easier to not care, easier to not get engaged. And um the whole, let's numb out, right? If I focus on what's wrong with the world and what's wrong with our country and what's wrong with the people and what's wrong with me, then yeah, apathy is a really good strategy, so you don't have to feel at all. But when you don't feel angry, it reduces your ability to feel excited. So, we don't value getting mad or going postal. Sorry for that expression, but it's there. You understand what I'm talking
Mhm.
about. Apathy is kind of like flatlining.
Yeah.
So then if you're flatlining, you aren't feeling pissed offedness, but you're also not feeling delight. So that's why we're having this conversation, Dr. Tiffanie, another great topic, where this is something that is keeping you from claiming your birthright to happiness. And, we want you happy.
And
Radiant.
according to the NIH, about 35% of normal healthy adults suffer from apathy at one point in their life. So that's a pretty significant amount of people who are on that roller coaster ride. So you are not alone. There is nothing wrong with you, and it's something that you might experience at some point in your life.
Mhm.
So just know that it is temporary, and it's just a journey, and this too shall pass. So just enjoy the ride and get ready for that upswing.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a visual when you were talking about that. Apathy is like, um, on a roller coaster when you literally are stopped in the middle of the ride, or the Ferris wheel, and you're at the top or side and it's not moving anywhere.
Mhm.
So that is not useful. So hopefully you have enough motivation and tips. I'm sure you did a little more research, Dr. Tiffanie. But yeah, I am surprised at 35. That's a high percentage.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So
And the reality is that as long as we have the skills that can equip us to continue to move forward, we can move forward. And that's what this show is about, letting people know that these feelings are temporary, and we don't want to get stuck, and we want to have things in our arsenal and in our back pockets and in our front pockets and maybe in our side pockets so that when we get to that part, we can reach inside our toolbox and say, okay, let me keep moving forward. When we get stopped on the side of the road, when we have a flat tire, we pause and we repair it so we can move forward. And that's what apathy is. It's like, okay, let me take a beat, take a breath, and let's persevere. And in life, we are going to have challenges. We are going to have a busted oven. And so we have to learn how to stop and reassess and regroup, because we can't let anything stop us from reaching the goals that we want, because life is going to challenge us. Life challenges us every day. When we wake up, there's a challenge knocking at the door, but we have to open it and we have to overcome it, and we have to keep fighting.
And we can also open our eyes and not see things that are going wrong. We can look for things that are going right. Not everything we see is a challenge. There's a lot out there that if we can train our awareness to look for things that are easy and things that are good, then we balance out. And this is the pushing and the striving that I keep talking about, the rat racing, the dog eat dog. We're taught that is just normal, and I want to put the moose on the table again, that is not the way life has to be. There are plenty of things that are working well, easy, with grace and ease, and just life can be really a great experience. It doesn't have to be as the guy pushing the stone up, but if you're not if you're not in that place yourself, if you're fighting yourself all the time, telling yourself what you should have done or shitting on yourself, it's balance, folks. The balance of even apathy. I remembered an expression I used to use. I don't give a flying fork through a rolling donut. Now that's angry apathy. That's like talk to the hand, which is also not necessarily, if you don't have apathy at all, then you're constantly stressed about things that you hate and you're railing against things, which is also not useful. So again, the extremes, apathy, angry, hatred, railing against, neither extreme is particularly useful. I would say the balance is what is useful.
Well, I think apathy is protective, because people feel apathy, they feel indifferent because they want to shut down and they want to protect themselves. And it can be a slippery slope. And as a physician, you can, if you don't stop and reassess and pull yourself out of that road of apathy, you can slip into depression and you can slip into other things. And you look at some of the people who have slid down into that road and gone deeper into the darker side. You look at some of the famous people who have had the money and the fame and who ventured off into the darker areas like Robin Williams and things like that. And you look at what they've done, and you look at some of their famous quotes, and you look at things. And I always like to do my research and look at, what are some of the famous quotes for apathy and things like that. And some of Robin Williams, his quotes were very sad. And you can look them up for yourselves. And you can see.
Give me one of them.
Oh, he said, I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make people happy because they know what it's like to feel absolutely worthless, and they don't want anyone else to feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is very, very deep, because he was such a profound comedian and he was really good at that. And you see him on the extreme trying to make everyone happy, but he himself was so miserable on the inside that he took his own life.
Yeah.
And he was really crying and dying on the inside.
Mhm.
And he was apathetic internally, and he never let
About
anyone.
himself.
Yes, and he never let it show, and he never got the help that he needed.
Mhm.
And so we can say, oh, suck it up. And I would never tell anybody to suck it up.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone should suck it up. And I think we as a society need to encourage people to get the help that they need. And so
Absolutely.
I think on the apathy is a protective mechanism. And that's why I wanted to address this. I'm saying no, shout it out, scream it out. Don't suck it up.
Mhm.
Yell, scream, shout,
Mhm.
stomp.
Mhm. Mhm.
Reach your hands out and
Yeah.
ask for the help that you need. You are precious. Your life is precious. And we want to help you. Somebody can help you. I will help you.
Mhm.
Dr. Marissa will help you. We are here for you. And so I think that it's important. Your life is important. Your emotions are important. And apathy is something that we need to attack. Apathy is something that we need to fight. And apathy is something that we need to overcome.
Mhm. And it's again such a. I just finished an article. I wrote it every quarter. They asked me to write an article for ACCA Journal, and I just talked about Robin Williams last night at 3 a.m. when I finished the article. Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain, all great examples of you have professional mastery on the outside, but inside that personal mastery is not there. There's nothing to stop the individual self-attack, self-loathing, self it's yeah, absolutely. Reach out, if that's what you're feeling, the apathy towards yourself, then you know uh, uh, those thoughts left unaddressed can lead to a permanent solution to a temporary problem, which is what suicide is. The and there's other resources if you don't want to reach out to us. I think what's that phone number now for mental health is 988, or I keep forgetting what that is, but we'll find it. Dr. Tiffanie, you can find that for me to just reach out. But I did want to take a minute to talk about professional apathy at work, and this is
Yeah, it's 988, the crisis line.
it's not. Thank you. So 988. Remember, eight's a lucky number. You can do a double good fortune. So I did want to spend a minute, a California minute, to all uh, business companies, leadership, anyone in a leadership role, that the most dangerous thing for your organization is if your folks are in apathy about the job, because then if your heart's not in it, your productivity is not going to be there either. And the worst thing is what I hear from so many people at work: I give up. Don't tell me just tell me what to do. Don't ask me what I think, because I've told you and you don't care to make any changes. So I'm done. I'll just clock in, give me my paycheck. I'll do what you want me to do. And then I'll live my life outside of work. That's professional apathy. And that is one of the most dangerous things. That's that quiet quitting. And if you're a leader listening to this on my LinkedIn, give me a call, because you're seeing a trend that will bring your company down. Because truly, to have people have that attitude, there's a reason they're feeling that way, and that can be changed. And then if you're one of those people that are doing that, you're only living 6% of your life, because you do spend more time at work than you do anywhere else. So that's a huge area that we could do a whole show on, because that's what I do with my PhD. So anyways.
Well, I feel that I found a quote that identified with me, and I would rather die a meaningful death than to live a meaningless life. And that's why I spend most of my time in service, whether it is volunteering to feed the less fortunate, whether it is mentoring younger people from elementary, middle school, junior high, high school, and lecturing residents, and whether it is providing lectures to churches on women's health. I'm always trying to give back to the community because I feel if I can help uplift others, I've provided an impact.
That's Ralph Waldo Emerson's definition of success that you have fulfilled, to know that one life has breathed easier because you have lived. And that's my final word. What's your final word, Dr. Tiffanie?
If I have improved the lives of others, I have had an impact, which is why I'm trying to make the world a better place.
Apathy sounds like pathetic. Don't be pathetic. Don't be apathetic. I hope you've enjoyed this episode where we continue to encourage you to claim your birthright to happiness 88% of the time. Thank you, Dr. Tiffanie. As usual, your research and your topics and your care and concern are very well received, at least by me, and I know by anyone within the sound of our voices now or later. And we really do hope that apathy is just a fleeting, not happiness is not fleeting, but your apathy will be fleeting. All right, that's it for today's show. Tomorrow is Throwback Thursday series, and I'm putting on from my show Treasure Chest someone we just who just passed, Loretta Swit. If those of you who remember MASH, she was a pioneer and an icon for women in major roles, and she was a doctor in that show. It was a classic TV show, and she passed, and I'm so grateful that she came on my show not once but twice, and that her legacy of her care for animals continues, and that I'll be bringing her interview to Throwback Thursdays tomorrow, and then Straight Talk on Friday with, I think it's James. Yes, it's James Hawthorne on Friday. We're still trying to figure out a way to get all four together because we've gotten so much positive feedback of all my co-hosts there. Thanks for joining us. Dr. Tiffanie, lead us in the out.
Now go and have the best day ever.
Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace.
Take back your life with Dr.